Okay, grade 4, today we are going to learn how to identify which one or which number is greater or smaller. Actually, it's quite obvious if the number is small, but it will be confusing once you'll have numbers that can go up to 1,000, to 10,000, or even millions. And there are bunch of other numbers that you have to arrange them in certain order. So what do you mean by greater or smaller? So for example, if you have 5 and 9, which do you think is greater? Of course, the greater number is 9 because 9 is more than 5. Okay? And obviously 5 here is smaller while 9 is greater. So that's how you identify whether which number is smaller or greater if you only have a small number. But what if you have bigger numbers like 23,642 or 23,824? Okay, so if you notice that both numbers start with 23,000, it's just that when you reach the hundreds place here, you notice now that there is a slight difference. Okay? They both start the same, but their hundreds place are different. And which is bigger here? Is it 6 or 8? Obviously, 8 is bigger than 6. So we can say now that this number here is greater, while this number here is smaller. Okay? There might be numbers that you might get confused of because of their arrangement. For example, 42,345 and 42,354. So let's check our first digits. We have 4, 4, they're the same. 2 and 2, they're basically the same. 3, 3, just the same. But if you notice here, what place value is this? This is the tens place. If you notice our tens place, we now have a difference, which is in this case is 4 and 5. Between 4 and 5, which do you think is greater? Of course, it's 5. 5 is greater. So we can say that this number here is greater, while this number over here is smaller. Okay? If you are getting confused with this process, all you have to do is try to align them by rewriting the numbers. For example, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to align them according to their place value. Okay? 4, 2, 3, 5, 4. If you notice this number over here, they are the same. So as the next number. Except for this one over here. Though the last two numbers are also different, but when you are going to identify whichever is bigger or smaller, they don't matter anymore. Unless the values here are the same. Okay? So in this case, that's basically how you can differentiate. You can tell the difference. And it is obvious that in this case, this is a lot bigger than 4. Which is basically obvious that 5 is greater than 4. So which means we can say that this number here is greater than this number. Okay, this is just to clarify that you have a certain page there, page 22, and it doesn't have an instruction on top because I was not able to include the instructions when I scanned it. So it says there that all you have to do there is just to encircle the greater number. Okay, that's for page 22. Again, for page 22, all you have to do is just to encircle the greater value or the greater number. While for page 24, all you have to do is just to encircle the smaller number. Okay, for page 25, letter C, all you have to do here is to arrange them in increasing order. What do you mean by increasing order? It means that you have to arrange the numbers from smallest all the way to the biggest value. Okay? So for example, which means in this case, we have to start with the smallest number. Identifying the smallest number, you have 5 here, you have 1, 1, and 5. So in this case, you have your first candidates such as 1, 3, 5, 9, and 1, 5, 9, 3. So if you notice digit, our first digits are the same. Second digit are not the same. So in this case, since we are arranging this in increasing order, we have to choose which one smaller. Which is smaller, 3 or 5? So it's obvious that the smaller number is 3. So which means we start writing the 1, 3, 5, 9 first, or read as 1359. So since this number is the only one left aside from those that start with 5, so it's safe for you to write 1, 5, 9, 3 there, or read as 1593. Let's erase this and also this to avoid confusion. Okay, now what's left is our 5, 9, 3, 1 and 5, 3, 1, 9. Then again, you have to compare their digits, and since we are arranging this in increasing order, we have to identify the smaller number. That's what we write first. Okay, so between 5931 or 5931 and 5319 or 5319, if you notice that 5 and 5 are the same, but our digits here are no longer the same. Which is smaller, 9 or 3? Obviously, that 3 is the smaller number. So in this case, it is now safe to say that you can now write 5, 9, oops, sorry, 5, 3, 1, 9, and of course, what's left is 5, 9, 1, 3. So arranging this series of numbers over here in increasing order is 1359, then 1593, then 5319, and lastly, we have 5913. So for page 25 again, letter D, we are now instructed to arrange the following numbers in decreasing order. Okay, if increasing means smallest to biggest, decreasing order now means from biggest all the way to the smallest. Okay, so which means when we are decreasing, you have to start with the biggest number. So identifying the biggest number here, we have 7171. We have to grab 7, the ones that start with 7 first. So 7014 and 7410. So if you notice again that we have both the first digits are the same, except for our second digit, which is 0 and 4. So in this case, just to remind you, since we are arranging these numbers in decreasing order, we have to start with the biggest number. So in this case, we compare them which one is bigger. Which is bigger, 0 or 4? So it's quite obvious that 0 doesn't have a value and any number above 0 is obviously the biggest. So in this case, 7,410 is our biggest. And what goes next, since we have since the other numbers that are left there starts with 1, so we have to write 7014 here. Okay, so I'll just leave this here. So our next candidates are 1407 and 1740. So all you have to do is just to write them again. Remember, if you're going to write them, it has to be according to their place value. Okay? Especially if you are a beginner. Kasi kung hindi kayo beginner, I mean, if you are a beginner, you might get confused. While for those who are already used to this, walang problema. Okay? Actually, by simply looking at the number, you already know what to do. But since you are still having a hard time, a starter pa lang, so might as well just do what I tell you. Okay? So then again here, we're going to compare our first digits. We have 1 and 1, which are the same, and we have 4 and 7. Then again, since this is in decreasing order, you have to identify which one's bigger. So which is bigger, 7 or 4? So in this case, 7 is the biggest. So all you have to do is just to write 1740 there, and what's left is 1407. Okay, see this? So this is one of the given examples there. It says which number has a greater value of the digit 1. So in this case, if you notice the digit 1, you have to identify where they are placed. This one and this one. For this digit over here, 1 is placed in the hundreds place. 1 is placed in the hundreds place, okay? Hundreds. Well, in this case, the 1 here is placed in the thousands place. So if I were to ask you, which one is bigger in terms of value, the 1,000 or the 100? Would you rather have 1,000 or 100? So obviously, most of us would say first 1,000. The bigger the value, the better. Bigger value of money, since I was actually asking about the money earlier. So the bigger the value of the money, the better. The happier we are. Okay? So this means here that 41,039 has the greater value for the digit of 1. Okay, so that is it. For the rest of your books, no, you are going to start answering from a certain page, I guess, starting from page 20 all the way to page 30. Okay, so if you have any questions or if you find things confusing, please send me a message. Okay, and I will try to give you an example on how to answer the given question. Okay, so that's it. Then again, don't forget to please message me if you are going to encounter any problems. Please do not be shy, do not hesitate to ask any questions.